Welcome to the Romance Podcast. And man, we are going to tackle something very, very heavy today.
What is it?
Mental health.
Oof.
But like in a fun way, right?
In a fun way.
Like a fun mental health way.
Like a really lighthearted way.
Yeah. So I'm going to start off by talking about what I have coming up. Very, very excited about this. Mm-hmm. And it will tie into mental health, I promise you. But as a diehard Cubs fan, as you all know that I am, do I have a text going on? Or was that?
Is that it was recording you talking? I didn't want it to send to somebody.
My watch?
Yes, sorry.
As a diehard Chicago Cubs fan, my favorite player of all time is Ryan Sandberg. Mm-hmm. Okay. Second favorite player of all time is Mark Grace. That's why I'm number 17, because he was left-handed first baseman like I was. My third favorite player of all time is Sammy Sosa. Now, Sammy Sosa is one of the best home run hitters of all time. He is the reason why the Cubs packed Wrigley Field back in the 90s. They had some bad teams back then. People came to see if Sammy would hit home runs. That was it. That was the main reason they went to Cubs games. Slamming Sammy, right? There is a bit of a dark cloud over some guys like Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. Alex Rodriguez, because of the steroid era. Now, full disclosure, back then, baseball did not ban PEDs and steroids, but they were illegal, I think, in the world. So common sense, kind of a loophole kind of thing. Well,
right.
I feel like baseball knew about it back then, but they loved the home runs. You know, people were hitting home runs like crazy.
Right.
Barry Bonds is the all-time home run leader. Some people think that no, he's not because of the steroid situation. Mm-hmm. Anyways, long story short, is Barry Bonds was found to do steroids. He's a cheater. Mark McGwire was found to do steroids. Cheater. Sammy Sosa, though there is tons of speculation, has never been found to do steroids. Still, the Cubs and the new owner, Tom Ricketts, refused to let Sammy come back to Wrigley Field until he admits the truth about if he did, if he didn't, which I think is stupid. Like, they didn't own the team back then, so why does Sammy owe them any kind of thing?
I will say, these other players have been welcome back. Alex Rodriguez does like play by play. He does all this like
A-Rod is part of ESPN, right?
Yeah, so it's like they all are like completely welcomed and loved, and no one's mad at him. No one's like, I mean, I'm sure there's people who don't like A-Rod. I don't mean that, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they can get jobs on ESPN. So it is just weird. Like this weird thing towards Sammy, and it's maybe because they want him to admit it, but good Lord, could you imagine if he didn't do it? And he's like, what the heck? Like, what if he didn't do it?
Barry Bonds is being inducted to the Pirates Hall of Fame. He's also been a coach for Major League Baseball. Mark McGwire has been a hitting coach. Like, everyone's welcome back, but yet Sammy has been like blackballed from the Cubs.
And like, listen, I obviously watching in that era. Okay, it was to pass my time, right?
Yeah.
But
you're very young. Yeah.
Thank you. But for me, it's just like, well, if everyone was kind of doing that, isn't it a little bit of a wash?
Right.
Like, fine, if you want to compare it to today's stats, like, that's not fair. Like, I get that. Like, is he the home run leader officially? I can understand that. But as a wash for that time, still a pretty talented player.
1,000%.
It's not like steroids could get you to be an amazing baseball player. Like, I couldn't take steroids and like be in the MLB.
Right.
You still have to be very, very good.
The thing about it is Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa were all damn good players.
Of course. Without it.
Right. And hitting a baseball is like the hardest thing in sports. So you still got to have that hand-eye coordination and whatever. Steroids.
And there's a lot of like little guys who hit really. I don't think it's all like big beef muscles that do that.
Right. So why am I painting this picture? Again, I want to say one more time, Sammy has never been like found to be doing steroids, convicted of it, but
is there a good chance?
If I'm a betting man, like would I put my life savings on that he didn't do it? No, but then again, like he also was never proven guilty. So Club 400, a really cool charity organization out here in Lake in the Hills. They're the infamous Cubs Man Cave is like the most man cave thing you could ever see in your life. This guy Stu, really good dude, does a lot of really cool things. Their slogan is Cub fans helping Cub fans. They've had every player you could think of: Anthony Rizzo, Kerry Wood, Ryan Sandberg, the owner Tom Ricketts, everybody you could think of at the Club 400 and the Man Cave, and they raised tons of money for charity. They've raised over $800,000 for charity so far as of today. And again, their slogan is Cub fans helping Cub fans. Well, he got Sammy Sosa to come back to Chicago for the first time with the fans at an event at Club 400. I am the official MC and host of the Sammy Sosa event. I get to conduct the Q&A with one of my all-time favorite Cubs, Sammy Sosa. So excited. Can you tell?
You're very excited.
I'm very
excited for you. Very
I
good
post
stuff.
this thing. I'm so excited about it. It's a big honor. A lot of people want to do this interview. I got the interview. Super excited. Again, thank you to Stu. Thank you to Club 400 for letting me do this, okay? So I post about it.
And it hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened yet. Oh, yeah.
Just I want to clarify.
Yeah,
Okay.
Saturday, September 28th. You can still go. It is a ticketed event, so go get tickets if you want to go. He's signing
Year
autographs.
2024, in case you're catching up on this podcast way later in
there you
life.
go. Good point. He's signing autographs. You get a picture with him. You get a little bit of time. It's an intimate setting and an intimate Q&A hosted by your boy, Roman. So, all right. So why am I talking about this when it comes to mental health? Well, because I post about it. I'm super excited about it. And I would say about 90% of the comments on my post on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram are, oh, Sammy's coming back. Oh, awesome. Like me, they love Sammy Sosa. There is a pocket of Cub fans that hate this man, that still call this man names, that will refuse to let him live anything down, and they go hard. And the comments on my, mainly Twitter, there are some people that are really, really mad, calling him a cheater, calling him, a PED user, calling,
more disgusting stuff that you're not going to say. Like, it's not even just like, oh, he cheated. Like, that's not what it's being said.
I can't believe you're going to interview this cheat. I mean, like, really going hard on this. Now, listen, I have thick skin. It's not about me. I can brush it off. I focus on the positive comments, right? But I was thinking about this. If you're Sammy Sosa, and again, I want to be clear, never been convicted or found guilty of doing steroids. But if you're Sammy Sosa, this is not just on my post. This is everywhere, right? So anybody who posts about Sammy will get this, whatever percentage it is. If it's 80 positive, 20 negative, whatever it is. But there are pockets of people that hate this man and will never forgive this man. And I'm thinking to myself, if I'm Sammy Sosa and I'm reading these comments, like, how does that make you feel? He's a human being. Regardless, he's a human being. And now you have like this black cloud over his entire amazing career that some people think he's a cheater and just will never ever forget him and call him horrible names and write negative comments. Regardless if he's a celebrity or not, how does that make him feel? If I'm Sammy Sosa reading this, how does that make me feel?
And can I shine a spotlight really fast?
Please.
Let's look at the severity. It's been a long time. Okay. Wounds healed, whatever. Rules have been made. Testing gets done now. Whatever.
Can I say one more thing before you give me that full thing?
Good. No, yeah, I was fully done.
No. Because you need to know, because you are so young, you don't know this. Baseball went on strike in the mid-90s. They went on strike. They didn't finish the season. It was a horrible blackout of baseball because they lost the whole season because of a strike.
Right.
Baseball wasn't fully back until 1998, when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire had this gigantic home run race to see who was going to be the single season record holder for home runs. Home runs and Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire brought the fans back to baseball because of their home run chase. So I want a little context for you.
Right.
Baseball had a huge black eye, had a huge problem. Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire saved baseball. You need to know that.
Right.
And again, now looking back, oh, did he cheat? Did he not? No one cared at that moment. He saved baseball along with Mark McGwire.
Right.
Okay.
So here's what I feel like the world for a long time, and I'm sure we're all guilty of it in different avenues, depending on what means the most to us, right? We're guilty of what is the true severity of something, and how about you relax? Because when's the last time Sammy played? It's been a hot minute.
I think 2004 was his last season. I think, yeah.
No lives were ruined. Nothing bad happened.
And didn't kill anybody.
No.
Right.
Nothing happened. If you're like, well, that's not the most honest score in the world. Okay. Right. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's the word, he didn't steal things from people, especially because at that time, a lot of people were doing it.
True.
So if you want to say that was like when the Cubs finally got their World Series and nobody else was ever proven.
Right.
I could see being like, well, that's BS. That's not a real win or something like that.
Right.
But a lot of players are doing it on a lot of teams.
True. Very true. Yeah.
So it's not even like you stole something from it. Like that's not going on. Right. And how about you relax? Because that's what I also never been proven.
Yeah.
So how about you relax? He's also coming to Chicago to do a charity event where 100% of the proceeds help people.
And for free.
So how about you relax.
He's coming for free, by the way. Like, he's making no money on this deal. He's coming for free for charity, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is what bothers me. People lose their minds all the time because something bothers them a little bit. Yeah. Like, you could look at that and go, I hated that players did that because it kind of ruined the game.
Yeah.
How about you move on after that statement?
That's my point. Yeah.
You no longer, if players were still allowed to do it and it bothered you, so you were making an argument for it, I could understand. The world has sided with you.
Right.
It's not allowed.
Right.
People have spoken out.
Right.
We have to drop things. People are like a dog with a bone in today's world. Something bad happens in the morning, they're pissed off at night still. Something bad happened a year ago, they still hate them. There's so much animosity right now, and I think it has a lot to do with the screens in front of us, and you can get this spitfire anger. And it's like, take a step back. Now listen, if you thought he had killed somebody and you didn't want to let that go,
Scott Peterson. If you thought he was Scott Peterson,
right? Now there's people out there who think Scott Peterson's innocent. I feel comfortable saying he's guilty because he's been convicted. If it's ever overturned, I will say that he's innocent.
But these two things are not the same,
right? So I can understand like this passion of you ruined lives and you did that. Like I could get it, but like relax.
Yeah, and
take a deep breath because. What happens when people are in public eye, whatever, and you could say that you're asking for it if you're in the public eye. You could say certain things. However, like they're still people. And so often the people who are attacking people, if something was said to one of their family members or their kids or they would be like, what's wrong with people? People are awful. Yeah. But they will spew that hate on people that they don't know as if they're not real because it's online. And that's not true. Imagine if your mom or your dad or your kids came home. They're like, somebody said this about me. It said I'm a huge cheater. It was whatever. You wouldn't let them live past a mistake. You'd go, mistakes happen. Yeah. You're just a human being. You're just this. That's what you say to people you love.
True.
And like, why can't you... Even if you disagree with it, even if you're not a Sammy Sosa fan, don't go to the event and be like, I really didn't like that happened.
Totally.
Why are you like, you should die? Like, relax.
That's my point that I did on Twitter. I did respond to the negativity, some negativity. Right. I was like, listen, you have your opinion. You don't have to go to this event.
Absolutely. Don't buy a Sammy Sosa jersey either. It's fine.
This event is not for you. Move on. I'll give you an example really fast. And you know this. I hate Chris Brown. Not a Chris Brown fan at all, okay? I'm not going to go into why and what he did. Y'all should know what he did. I hate Chris Brown. Do I think he should not have a career anymore? No. It's a free country. Right. Go continue to tour, make music. I'm not going. I'm not listening. I don't like him, but I move on. He can live his life, and I don't have to pay attention to it. Same thing with Sammy Sosa. Yes. If you don't like him, move on. Don't come to the event. But like the hate that some people have, because I also want to say a lot of people
love him. Obviously, this event is happening because a lot of people love him.
He saved baseball. He was the main draw for the Cubs for a long time during bad baseball. So a lot of people love Sammy Sosa, like me, and I'm very, very excited for the event. But yeah, I just thought of him as a human. Like, how does it make him feel because he's not blind. I'm sure he reads this stuff. And I had a front row seat of somebody getting bashed online, and I live with her, and I want her to kind of talk about her story because I know how it affected you, and that's kind of where we're going mental health wise. Is that I don't know how it affects Sammy Sosa, but I know how it affected you. So why don't you kind of talk about your story when you first started at Q101?
Yeah, when I first started at Q101, a lot of drama popped off, and I'm not like, here's the tea spill. I'm not doing that because to be honest, it's not my business. And everything that happened
wasn't your fault either.
It had nothing to do with me.
Right.
So when I started, anybody who follows Q101 will know there was a host that stopped working there and a PD that stopped working there, who'd be like basically the host's boss. So my first day, I walked in the building, which by the way, my first day was my birthday. Okay, so I'm like, ready to work with everybody. There was prior issues which I had never been in the building. Right. Nothing had anything to do with me. There was beef that reached a boiling point that had nothing to do with me. Right. And that occurred. However, all these changes occur and somebody walks in. Whose fault do you think it is?
They thought it was yours.
And I became a scapegoat for every single person's anger. And I was just sitting there with my mouth open because I didn't even, Brian, who I do the show with, he's still there. I had met him, I think one time, maybe twice before I did the show. I barely knew anyone. Okay. I was really, I was off and we were gone for our wedding and our honeymoon, and they wanted to start the show as soon as possible. But I'm like, well, I have a wedding and honeymoon.
Right.
So like, I just kind of got thrown in. We weren't doing test shows. None of that was going on. So I didn't even know anyone. So no one was even giving me information because like, Brian wasn't going to be like, guess what happened? Because he didn't know me really.
Yeah.
So I was just standing in a building, all this stuff going off with countless DMs, social media tags, everything, telling me to kill myself, telling me I should die, telling me I'm the scum of the earth, telling me I'm a huge whore and I shouldn't work there, telling me because I've listened to other music before, I'm basically not allowed to work there, which is odd. I think we've all heard other music. So it's an interesting take.
Many genres exist in this world
It's
for a reason.
Unbelievable. You would open the door, but this is weird. You can like more than one of them, which is very interesting, apparently, to some people.
Yeah.
But I really became the scapegoat for a lot of anger and a lot of hate. I actually called my agent and was like, I'm not going to work here. So is there a way to like null and void that contract? Because all these changes happen and people had to talk me into staying. And I go, no, you guys are fine with me staying because no one, like, people were threatening me. And it's, you know where the studio is. You can look up the address of a studio. People were threatening me. Hello, I show up at 4 a.m. by myself. Yeah. Like, I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel safe. And again, I didn't even know anyone. I had nothing to do. It's like walking, like, could you imagine? I walked into like an explosion and they got blamed for it.
You walked into an atomic bomb that had nothing to do with you. The timing was the day you started.
I didn't even know anybody.
And a lot of that audience was pointing their fingers at you.
And I understand like a look of it. I'm not saying like, oh, you're so stupid I understand like the correlation is so weird. But again, I was uninvolved. The threats seem a bit unnecessary. Yeah. I didn't do anything to anybody. Right. I wasn't involved in it, but I got harassed, and I honestly still to this day, which happens in media, there's always going to be somebody who decides that they don't like you, and it is what it is, okay? They're just like hyper focused on that. And I get awful texts. And this guy the other day was telling me I don't deserve a job and I should kill myself, and like just in my messages. And I responded and said, I really hope, one, that your day gets better because something's wrong here. Obviously, like no one's like happy and skipping to work and they feel like they need to send that to someone. So I'm like, I hope your day gets better. Also, maybe you should keep in mind, because it was a man who was sending it to me and I'm a woman, and I'm like, I'm sure that you have a mom or a sister or a significant other or maybe a dog. I'm sure that you have women in your life that you care about and would be disgusted if you found out any guy spoke to them like this.
True.
And I go, and I hope that you keep that in mind, because I would imagine they'd be very disappointed in you if they found out. Like, if I found out that you spoke to a woman like that, or my dad, or something like that, I would be like so disappointed. Like, we don't talk to, like, it's so unnecessary, right? Especially because like you just didn't like my clash with Kenzie or something. It's just like not that serious. Well, like, it's like, you know,
like my Chris Brown point, like, just don't listen. If this guy hates you,
right,
then don't listen to Brian and Kenzie.
This is not an argument for you should like me.
Right.
Absolutely. It's not your job to like me. No one can be everybody's cup of tea. Maybe you don't like the sound of my voice. That's an innocent thing. Sometimes voices, like, you just don't like them on ears, and it's just, I'm okay with that. That's absolutely fine. It does not offend me. I cannot appeal to every single person in the world. Right. There's nobody who can. The most talented people in every genre still can't appeal to another, like a different genre. Like, it happens. And that is totally, totally fine with me. But you don't need to think that I should die and that my children shouldn't have a mom because you don't like the sound of my voice.
Yeah, I saw firsthand the toll it took on your mental health. We lay in bed and you would cry every night. Like, literally for a couple days in a row, you were crying because you didn't want to go to work the next day because of all the negativity that was being, spewed at you. Yeah. And I hated that, you know, and it's easy for me to say have thick skin because it wasn't me going through it. However, we have a very similar career. I mean, radio, TV, the whole thing. Quick little aside, when I was Styles and Roman at B96, we got moved to Styles and Roman over at US 99 from top 40 to country. And we dealt with a big backlash as well. We were replacing legends at that point, and the genre was so different from top 40 to country. And no one really knew that I love country music. Like, I mean, I'm wearing a Morgan Wallen shirt right now.
Right, you love country.
Yeah, so like,
what's interesting, you can like more than one genre.
1,000%. 1,000%. So I love country music, but in some people's minds, it was, what are these hip hop guys, doing in country? So I did deal with some hatred. I will say I have thicker skin than you, and it's not a compliment to me or an insult to you, but it's just like one of those things where like I would brush it off, like whatever, we're gonna prove you wrong. Like I don't like say what you want. I don't care. I don't spend my time focusing on the negative. Where Kenzie, to her credit, is so like worried about other people. Like she can get 1,000 comments of people talking about how amazing she looks, how hot she is, how I can't believe you had a baby 7 months ago, you look amazing, but one negative comment will stick with her.
Well, in fairness, I do get more negative comments than you, and I think that comes with being a female. That's just kind of like the territory. Like, as a girl, like if I dressed frumpy, people are like, like so button up, it's boring, it's blah blah. If you dress showy, it's like you're slutty. It's kind of like you can't win. There's always going to be somebody who has a bigger opinion on that stuff from like a female. If you get really dressed up, it's like, who are you trying to impress? You're dressed down, you don't care. It kind of comes with the territory. So I do get more.
I agree.
And what really sucked about the beginning of Q101, obviously I love Q101, I love being there. That was just a very weird circumstance to be in. Is that people were creating opinions about me based off of not a truth. And that was hard. Like people were like, oh, I don't like them, whatever. And then you started, but I was getting pinned for almost doing something awful that like, I had no part of.
You were the mastermind that got everyone fired, according to some people.
And it was like, what in the world? Absolutely not. That's not my intention. So like, that's what really bothered me is like, whoa, there's a Reddit thread and like this doesn't exist. And that was really hard because I wasn't even getting the opportunity. Like, hear me, listen to a few shows. And by the way, if you listen for 10 seconds and go, well, nope, I tried, I hate her. That's not trying. Yeah. That's like a little kid like licking his broccoli and saying, no, I hate it, I knew it, I gagged, I threw up. Like that's a child response. And you don't even have to try it if you don't want. Like you're an adult. But I wasn't even getting an opportunity. And
I saw you a lot of times head buried in your phone, and I could tell. I go, babe, get off your phone right now because you're going through the rabbit hole of comments, and it's and again, you're the type of person that those comments stick with you and they stay with you, and you were getting in a very bad headspace because you were again crying at night, and then you would be staring at your phone looking at like negative comments, and it broke my heart. And the best advice I could give you was stop looking at those comments, stop entertaining and responding to those comments, and just do the best you can do because you're insanely talented. They hired you for a reason. You are, again, on the fast track to superstardom in radio and TV, and just got to put your head down and kind of keep rocking. Just keep walking, and keep, as Dory would say, just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
And I know easier said than done. Totally get it.
And I want to put something out there because it's so easy to just like devour things. It's so easy to do it. And I see it all the time. And there's a few specific people who I see, because here's the thing, I have to be on Q101 socials. I have to do that. I have to interact. They're my posts, or I want to respond to people who say something about me. So then I also see negative things. I avoid like extras. I'm not like Googling what people say, but there's some things that you can't avoid seeing because it's part of your job to participate, right? And there's a few people in particular that they can't stop like being insanely mean about me. And all I can think is that if you're that obsessed and you hate somebody that much to it consumes you to a point where you're bringing me up in a post that I'm not in. It's not even like a poll or something. Yeah. You're just constant. That's what you're looking for. There's just no way you're happy. Because there's people in this world that I don't like. Because that happens. We're all going to have some people we don't like. And again, if I'm yours, that is okay. Yeah. But I have never been like, let me find a talk board about them. Let me do this. Because I have a fulfilling life. And if that's what you're doing, I challenge you to find a different way to express or connect with people or do whatever, because a lot of those same people, again, if you're on there and you're really ripping into people, making them feel like crap, posting about them, liking every mean comment about them, you're just supporting hate. If it happened to you or if it happened to somebody in your life, you would be disgusted with how mean humanity is. Yeah. You hear people say that. I can't believe how bad people are. I see it on the road. I see this. I see like. If you think to yourself, if somebody talked to my mom like this or my significant or whoever you have in your life, maybe you're more of a friend person, you have those really close relationships, and it would disgust you if that's how they're being treated, maybe you're not saying or doing good things and you're part of the hate in the world, which you've all had moments where we've been part of the hate in the world. I'm not saying that, but it's a good thing to maybe self-analyze and not spread so much hatred.
Yeah. Two more things I want to say about this. One is I want to give a shout out to Lauren, the midday girl, because I felt like you were kind of left out there to drown. And I was like, why is nobody speaking up for her? And then Lauren, again, Lauren does middays at Q101. She went to like the fan club page and posted a really cool thing about you and was telling everyone to chill the F out. And I will always give her credit for that. She really was the first one to stick up for you. And she had been there for a while, so it was a good voice to say something, you know?
Well, right, because I can say something and they're like, well, you're a liar.
Right.
We don't know you, right?
Yeah.
So it was very helpful.
So I was very thankful for Lauren to speak up because I was like, come on, someone's got to, like, come on, let's go, you know? And she was the one to answer that call. So thank you, Lauren.
I love Lauren. Lauren and I knew each other way before Q101. We are Tampa sisters.
There you go.
Okay, so that's my girl. We've known each other at many different stations.
Yeah.
And so we know each other through and through. Yeah. You know? And so like that, she was like my little pink-headed beacon. I love her.
Yeah. And the second thing I'm going to say is I can say it because you're just way too humble. The ratings have never been higher in the mornings.
Don't say stuff like that.
And so
knock on everything.
Who's laughing now? Because she is good at her job and she is funny and she is witty. And suck it.
No, don't say stuff like that.
I said it. You don't have to say it. I said it.
Because I would never say that. I would never say that.
I'm just very proud of you because the ratings are good right now. And it's like, you know, you could have easily quit. You could have easily just been done. You know, you could have walked away. You don't got to put up with that, right? But you did. And you found a way to persevere through that. And now, you know, life is good right now in the radio world. I know ratings go up and down. I get it. Okay. But right now they're good. So I'm very, very proud of you.
So the Titanic sink next month. I'm blaming on you.
No, I'm just saying I'm very proud of you because how much better does it feel now that you're on this side of it? And, you know, again, those people that said things early on, they just never gave you a chance because I can't imagine.
If you off the bat, like, I mean, they posted a picture like, this is our new girl. And people were like, already hate her, already that. There's nothing I can't do that. If you're going to comment on my picture and be like, she is disgusting, she has fake eyelashes on. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I did for that picture. I obviously don't all the time.
She doesn't look alternative. Like, what? Sorry, what's the look?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Like, before that show, or before you got that radio show, we were going to Fall Out Boy. You know, we were going to Pumpkins. We do
my
like
first concert ever was Avril Lavigne. Effing obsessed with her. But anyways, okay.
Whatever. So anyways, I wanted to kind of share that because I saw firsthand what mental health could do to somebody. I live with her, you know, and it sucked. You are much happier now, and I'm happier for you now.
Thank you.
That you've survived.
It's such a journey, and I don't think people know everything that you're going through because it's easy to look at it and think that they won't care or whatever, but words do matter. I think it's, you know, you try the best to have yours be good and just contribute some good to the world. It can be that simple. And it's, I would say the last 2 years, because between that, and that took a while for me, and then having a baby and dealing with that, I've been on such a mental health journey for at least 2 years because both those things were a lot.
Well, we are about to do our third segment here about mental health, which is being parents to Marino. I think if you follow this podcast, you know, early on, I was dad shamed a little bit for calling our son difficult. I love him. I think he's adorable. I think he can be the cutest, most giggly little smiley baby in the world. I think he can also be a monster. And I think
he is not a monster.
And I think I've said that before, and you yelled at me and all those different things. I think that Marino has finally wore you down a little bit. Where we agree that he is a bit challenging / very challenging.
So the problem is that Marino has been, bless you.
I'm so sorry.
Marino has... It's been a lot. Babies are a lot. I've never heard someone say, "Oh my god, I want to have so many babies," because it's the easiest thing I've ever done. So that's just goes without saying it's going to be difficult. The problem is Marino, who always slept amazing, like from birth, slept awesome. Like even as a newborn, maybe woke up every 4 hours to eat and then fell back asleep. Like we never had to deal with he thinks it's daytime. He doesn't want to sleep at all. We were so lucky. So lucky. Less than 2 months sleeping through the night. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah.
He had a horrible 6 month sleep regression where he was screaming the entire night.
Yeah.
I mean, we would switch off hours. I'd go in there for an hour. You'd go in there for an hour. I'd go in there for an hour. Yeah. And then at one point I'm like, aren't you just tired? You've been up for 4 hours upset and like carrying him and walking him and doing whatever you can upset the whole time. And that is kind of what broke me, because when I'm working mornings, we're doing this all night.
Hold on a second. Give me a little more credit though. Like, yeah, the really, really bad nights we would switch.
Yeah.
Normally, 95% of the time, I have overnights.
You handle overnights.
Because you get up early.
But like, here's the deal. The baby's screaming his head off. We're getting in and out of bed. Like, I'm not like sleep. It's not like, oh,
yeah,
perfect.
But I want to put that out there because it makes me look really bad that like I'm just making you do like no. I handle overnights 95% of the time.
Right.
The few times it has been really, really bad and you saw me get frustrated beyond belief.
Well, you just have to like.
Then
you can't handle being up the entire night doing that, but you can't. It's not good. And if I'm up anyways because he's screaming bloody murder, it's just stupid. You need a break. So. That's what got to me, because it's so hard to do that and then go do morning show hours and then come home and your baby's also up the whole day and you're trying to be interactive and do this. And it was just so, I had nothing left. I was like, we're not sleeping. We're not connecting. I felt like a zombie. Like I was like almost on autopilot. And then I felt like a bad mom because I'm not being like fun and interactive and coming up with games, because I just felt like I was barely keeping my eyes open, trying to keep them entertained during the day. And a lot of sleep regressions are, some people say their kids are a few days or a few weeks. We're going on over 6 weeks of it. That's like this is like a newborn status like issue. And I have tried everything. I reduced his naps to the correct amount of hours. He gets a high caloric intake every day. Ridiculous amounts of tummy time so it tires him out. He has this magnesium lotion that's supposed to help him sleep. We use this grape water, which is 100% natural. Like it's just boiled water with like herbs in it to calm down their stomach. Because I'm like, maybe he's trying all these new foods and it's upsetting his stomach at night. It has a little bit of chamomile in it, which is calming. Like I can't even describe to you everything I've read, every step I've tried. I'm not just sitting here with my arms out like, well, I don't know. And it's been so challenging because I need like a little bit at night to be able to relax and do this so it can hit the next day hard. But when you're also doing it all night, there's nothing left.
Yeah, we as parents have hit rock bottom. I mean, I'm not joking. Like it's been really, really bad.
Yeah.
The problem is my mother, who was the biggest help in the world with Tristan. I was a single dad for a long time. My mom actually moved in my house and was so great with Tristan and all those things. And still is great with Tristan and my niece and nephew. But they're older. They're 10, 11, and 10. So like ultimately, and my mom is 10 years older now than she was when I had Tristan. So, and my mom broke her arm last year. So like, her arm isn't very strong. Marino is heavy. He's
monkey.
Nuts where he's so nuts where if you don't have strength to hold him in your arms, like he will fall out and jump out.
I mean, I'm 29 and sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like it's like my arm's going to fall off or this. It's really hard work. He also wants to be on the ground a lot because of the tummy time. That's more challenging. His room's upstairs. Everything else is downstairs. So it's a lot on her.
For my mom, it's very challenging, just through no fault of her own, just because of time, right?
Yes.
My sister is super busy because she has 2 kids as well that are involved in every extracurricular activity you could think of. And they have, weekends that are full with baseball games, dance recital. So, and then your family doesn't live here.
I don't have family here.
So we are drowning in Marino right now.
And we really, we're just really not, we don't have an option for help, basically, which is really, like, you can hire someone here and there, but like, who do you hire and go through the interview process, whatever. But it's not as easy as like, Mom, can you come over for 2 hours? I just go on a walk with the baby so I can sit for a second. We're not there. And again, there's other things that have to be done. So there's cooking dinners. There's doing everything. Obviously, all of Tristan's stuff. I mean, he has soccer tonight. He has piano tomorrow. Is it like we have a whole other kid that's got his schedule in life because he's 10 and dinners, and then I have to work. I have to do show prep. I have to do that. I really felt like I have nothing in me. When the baby goes down for a nap, I'm recording a podcast or I'm show prepping or it's not like, oh, good, let me just relax for an hour while he sleeps. That doesn't happen,
This podcast, what I'm saying? We were going to do this podcast last night. Marino decided after like 20 minutes he was going to wake up and
start the really fun process of us trying to get him to sleep at night.
So, I mean, we definitely have hit rock bottom as parents. Now, listen, I know from experience that it does get better. I know that every stage, in my mind at least, it gets better than the last. And I know he's not going to be this difficult forever. I mean, at some point he will, I hope, turn.
And we know he can sleep through the night because he did it for a really, really, really long time.
Yeah. Since I've done daddy boot camp the past couple nights, which is a different philosophy of like than what we've been doing.
We were picking him up too much and stuff like that. So soothing inside the crib, things like that.
I'm not going to bore you with the details, but like we're trying something different, which has had success the past couple nights, knock on wood. My sister has also been so great where she has agreed to once a week during the day when her kids are at school to have Marino, so me and Kenzie can go on date nights during the day because
we get to go have a lunch with just him and I, which
Yeah.
I can count on one hand, and it doesn't take up the entire hand, how many times you and I have been alone.
Yeah.
Because we have 2 kids. So usually like sometimes you close the door and you turn around and Tristan's like, can I have dessert? It's like, oh my gosh. So how many times we've been alone, I can count and just take the whole hand on one hand in 7 months, which is really hard.
So the school
on a relationship.
School is back in session. So T Rose at school, obviously, as most kids are. And then so my sister's gonna grab Marino once a week, so we can just have a little bit of adult time together. Because the one beef that you have with me is that we're kind of split. Like I have Marino during the day, and then you get home, and then when Tristan's out of school, me and Tristan go do stuff because again, he is a full 10-year-old with a full 10-year-old schedule of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So you hate the conquer and divide situation because we don't connect in that moment. So by doing at least once a week, having our little date nights during the day, we get to connect again like we used to, get to kind of check in with each other and just kind of breathe. And like yesterday, we went to our favorite sushi place and had a real nice lunch in St. Charles. And it was so nice to like, I hate to say it, not be with Marino and not have to worry about this crazy kid doing whatever. Just being adults again was very, very nice. So I'm looking forward to that once a week. And also I felt like we came back with our baby that day and we were more refreshed, ready for whatever that day brought because we had a little bit, maybe 2 hours tops of an escape from what's been going on.
Just a breath. I just need a breath.
You want to breathe.
Sometimes.
You want to breathe. That's it.
I haven't been breathing a lot, you see. It's been really, really challenging. And the thing is with the divide and conquer, it's really hard because what I had in mind is not what's occurring in my life. And that's always really challenging because I had this vision and this idea, and I imagined having a baby. And I imagine all of us being closer, a lot closer, because like Tristan has his brother, and like it's more dots connected on the graph. You know, I just imagined it like so intertwining us. We're this family of 4. There's even more of us. There's more to laugh about. There's more to share. There's just more kids, but we're doing stuff for him, and we're doing stuff for him, and we're doing this. And I had this vision, and it ended up like I think we spend significantly less time together. Yeah. We have had very different opinions on how we should handle some of that time. And like, I didn't see that happening. So that it's been really, really hard because I was so excited for something that isn't happening.
Currently, temporarily, this is our schedule. Divide and conquer. Just get through each day and make it to the next day and do it the best that we can with a smile on our face. And you get mad at me sometimes because a smile isn't on my face all the time.
Or ever.
But also,
or
I mean,
ever.
there was somebody in this house that had a bit of a breakdown over the weekend, and that wasn't me. Who was that?
That was me. I was really upset. We were up the entire night, right. And then you were gone at the football game, and Marino was still really upset. And I finally got him down for a nap. So it was like I felt like I was up all night, and then I was with him all day, and I finally got him down for a nap, and I had to work during that nap, and you can't do. And I just broke down because I felt like I was going to die. And
I hated seeing that. And that is what sparked me to call my sister and be like, yo, I don't ask for help. Like, I really am like not the kind of guy that's like, oh, I'm struggling or like, I'm going to, my head's going to explode. But I was like, yo, we are drowning in Marino right now. Can I get once a week? And she was more than happy to do it. And that's kind of what started this of like getting back on track. And I think we had a lot of fun yesterday doing that. I hope you did as well. I did for sure.
Yeah, it was nice.
I look forward to it once a week. And again, I think slowly but surely we're going to kind of get back to being Kenzie and Roman, the ones that you fell in love with, the one I fell in love with. But, having a baby's not easy. I know we're not the only ones that struggle.
Oh, yeah.
And, I was a father back in the day, a single dad. So I know that it can also, I know difficulties that come in different ways, right? Single parenting is very tough. There's two of us, and this situation is very tough. Parenting is not easy.
Well, now there's two kids. They're everywhere. They're surrounding us.
And I think it's a really good time for you to confess and announce to the world that you're done having kids. Go ahead.
Don't do that.
What? No?
That's so
mean. We're not announcing that yet?
No.
Okay.
You weirdo. What a weird thing to do. All right.
I think it's a perfect way to end our podcast.
What is wrong with you?
Because I am so happy with our family of 4.
No, you're not.
I think me, you, Tristan, and Marino, I want to lock that in as the final 4.
Oh, okay.
And be happy the rest of our lives and kind of like be on this journey, us 4 together forever and ever. I love that. The final 4. This is the final 4. No?
We're done. We're not going to do this right now.
We're done?
Yes.
It's
like with our relationship.
Oh,
we're done.
Okay, perfect. Well, again, thank y'all for checking out our episode. We want to kind of in a fun way talk about mental health because it's real. We've kind of give you examples of like celebrities. You're a local celebrity. My wife.
No, I am not.
My wife dealing with it from a media standpoint, and then just parents, mental health. It's a real thing. I always joke with her. I said, Marino wants to break us down. He wants to break us.
You're psycho. He has conspiracy theories about the baby.
It's
weird.
He wants to split us up. He wants 2 Christmases. He wants 2 birthday parties.
Sick.
That's what he wants.
Twisted.
Don't let him win. All right. Have a great week. We'll see y'all next time on the Romance Podcast. And do not forget, as you can tell by our banter, you cannot spell romance without Roman.